Hey, it's Parshat Mishpatim, and it comes right after the big Parsha last week of the giving of the Torah, or the giving of the Ten Commandments, and this national revelation and the sound and light show, and the Jewish people actually saw Hashem or experienced something like the voice of Hashem, the words of Hashem. The Ten Commandments came down from the sky, and there was like this incredible experience that they never had before, and they almost couldn't even bear it. They died. And it's like told in the Midrash that the Malachim, the angels, had to revive them. They just couldn't handle such a spiritual experience. That was in last week's Parsha. And in this week's Parsha, we just have Mishpatim. We have laws. And it talks about damages and how to know who's responsible for what and what kind of damages, and if animals cause damage, if your animal caused damage to somebody else's possessions or life, God forbid, or if there was damage to somebody else's possessions, a field, their stuff. We have talking about slaves and what happens if you don't have money to pay back a debt. Different, just like down to earth, detailed laws, And it's interesting how, after this huge experience that was so spiritual and so incredible, it's the only nation ever that ever had this kind of revelation, a national revelation. And we don't really stick to that so much. Like right away in the next Parsha, we go down into this world and we show really, it's like a lesson that it's not about that one-time experience and the sound and light show and the exciting inspiration and wow, this was amazing. Oh my gosh, I need to hear this class again. Or I heard this amazing, a speaker who was just so charismatic and so incredible and so funny. And it's not about that one-time experience. It's about just bringing godliness and holiness into your life and going about your daily life and becoming a human being, becoming a decent mensch, just like how are you going to have your business? How are you going to make sure that you don't damage your friend's field, like little detailed, halacha. Just mishpatim means like laws, halacha. I actually was at Aisha Torah today. I took my seminary there. We have Aish days from time to time. I have a little bit of pull over there. So that's a fun thing that my seminary gets to do. We go to Aish, and we had this class by Rabbi Dov Ber Cohen. And he called the class Halacha, the ultimate martial art. And he was talking about how halacha comes from the root of halicha, walking. And it's just a way of life. Like our Torah is not about that, like sitting on a mountain and having this spiritual experience or being holy. It is about being holy. But what does being holy mean? Halacha, it means bringing that holiness or that godliness into your life and just walking the walk, talking the talk, walking the walk, taking things into your life and becoming a good, decent human being and a light unto the nations just by your walking, having a lifestyle. They say it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, right? So that's the lifestyle that we need to lead and live. And he said, basically you can never be a free person if you don't learn the rules of how to have the best life possible. And Torah is just instructions that Hashem, who is the being who created us, so he knows it's the instructions for having the best life. And if you bring those laws into your life, then it becomes a relationship. And it's not rules, it's a relationship. He was giving examples and a metaphor or an analogy to his wife, let's say, his marriage, right? And he said, if I say to myself, if my wife tells me, you know what, I really like sunflowers. So when you bring me flowers on Erev Shabbat, on Friday afternoon, could you just bring me some sunflowers as well? Because I really like them. If he were to say, oh, can't believe I now have to bring her sunflowers. That would just be so pathetic. That's not a good relationship. Whereas, he was so happy to hear that this is what makes his wife happy. that he was so happy to get more information about what she likes because he wants to make her happy. And of course he's going to buy her sunflowers because he has a relationship with her and he wants to make her happy, and he's building. And when you hear rules or you hear certain guidelines or certain things that give you more of an understanding of this relationship and what makes her happy, and what she hears more about what makes you happy as a man, then obviously this builds the relationship. So Judaism is a relationship. It's not a rules. This Rav Gav Friedman was also teaching a class, and his was called Rules or Relationship. It's exactly the same point. Torah is not about rules, or if it is, it's rules of the game. It's the rules, the instructions that you need in order to become the best person that you can be and to have the best life in the world. And that's how you're free, is only if you know the rules of the game. If you don't, then you are a slave to your desires, to your ego, to your crazy bad character traits, because you just have no boundaries. You don't know where to even put yourself. So you can't be free. That's not called free. That's called the ultimate slave. So also here in this parsha, Nesiva Shalom, of course, I'm going to bring you Nesiva Shalom. Don't worry, I'm not just going to bring you the Aish classes from this morning. He says that this is actually the parsha where we hear about Na'aseh v'nishma. It's interesting. I always thought that it was in the previous parsha. Before the Torah was given, the Jewish people said Na'aseh v'nishma. Maybe they did also in last week's parsha. I kind of feel like they did. We will hear Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do and we will hear. Meaning we will first do what you have to say. Like, just tell us what to do and we'll do it. And then we will understand. We will try and understand. So obviously everybody asks the question, how can you do something that you don't understand? Like, you need to first find out what to do and how to do it in order to then do it. So obviously it doesn't mean that. It means we're first going to do it because we trust you and we know that you, Hashem, know us and love us and want to give us the best life. And we don't have to understand the ins and outs of it because we trust ultimately that this is about a relationship. And that is, Nesiva Shalom says here, that this is the ultimate real point about the giving of the Torah. It's not about the revelation. It's not about Hashem giving us the Torah. It's about us being willing to accept the Torah, but being willing to enter into this covenant, into this relationship. And Moshe says to the Jewish people, this is the covenant that I am giving you, that I'm bringing you into. And the Jewish people said, Kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh v'nishma. By them saying, anything that you say, Hashem, we will do, and then we will hear, and then we will try and learn it and understand it and figure it out and get the meaning behind it. What that shows, Hashem, is that there is a relationship here. This is them accepting that covenant, which means we are entering into a relationship. And we just want to understand what you want us to do, what makes you happy. We need to know the rules of the game. We trust that these are the rules and that this is going to make us happy, that this is for us. So he was talking about the martial art, the idea of halacha being the ultimate martial art, because again, with martial art, you practice. You need to train. You need to go out and get the rules. Like, you have to understand, like, what am I supposed to do? Should I put my hand up? Should I break the fall? How do I do it? And it's the martial art, because what you need to know is how to behave with how to ultimately get the most out of this art, how to train yourself. If you're going to train for a marathon, you need to train, you need to run, you need to do stuff. So basically what he's saying here is that these are the rules of the game. These mishpatim are the rules. And it's for you to understand that this is about a relationship, that I'm happy to hear what are the rules, what makes you happy, Hashem, and therefore what's going to make me happy, because that's going to give me the best life possible. Have a good Shabbos.